So our first speaker today is Dr. Eddy White, who is an associate professor at the University of Arizona. And Dr. White has been a teacher for more than 25 years, including at the University of Arizona since 2011. With a background in applied linguistics and a specialization in classroom assessment, he currently develops and teaches
Kind of, but it's okay. I can move over. I think this is my coffee.
So please welcome Dr. Eddy White.
Good morning, everybody. I've been teaching at the University of Arizona, I guess, for about 10 years, and I find myself in the, I think, an enviable position that I get to develop some new courses and teach them. So one of the courses that I developed a couple of years ago is called Weird Stuff: How to Think About the Paranormal, the Supernatural, the Mysterious. And you can imagine, I think it's a gen ed course, so for university students seeing a course title like Weird Stuff, immediately it starts attracting people's attention. I guess I have to say from the outset that I'm not particularly interested in paranormal or the supernatural, except for the UFO phenomenon. I'm very interested in cosmology and astrology, but I'm not particularly interested in the paranormal or the supernatural. What I'm very interested in, though, is belief. I'm very interested in belief, and why people believe certain things and reject other things. And saying that as somebody who was indoctrinated into a supernatural belief system at an early age, you're probably familiar with it. It's called Roman Catholicism. So, I teach in the Public and Applied Humanities Department at the University of Arizona, which is quite new. And one of the key things for that department is understanding and describing the human condition. And a huge part of the human condition is belief in the supernatural and the paranormal. And while there's some distinction between the two terms, I mean, loosely, we can define them as things that exist outside or occur outside the natural world or the laws of science. And here's just a slide from Chapman University, and some of the beliefs. This is from the United States, and this is the percentage of people agreeing or strongly agreeing with these different paranormal phenomena. And you can see some of the percentages there. And this, I guess, the slide also represents some of the ground that we cover in the course that I teach. And we take a closer look at each of these phenomena, including some other ones. Chapman University has been surveying Americans about belief in the supernatural for a while. And what they're finding also is that all paranormal beliefs are on the rise. So they say Chapman University survey of American fears has included the same set of questions about paranormal beliefs on 3 waves of the survey. And they say what is striking is how rapidly such beliefs are rising. And you can see from this slide here over this 3-year period, and you see on the right the change that has occurred in beliefs in these different paranormal phenomena. Okay? And again, the paranormal beliefs, this is some of the territory that we cover in the course, but belief in the paranormal is definitely on the rise. One of the great reference books I use in my course is called Paranormal America: Ghost Encounters, UFO Sightings, Bigfoot Hunts, and Other Curiosities in Religion and Culture. This second edition is from 2018, I think. And these are sociologists who go around the country and they research belief in the paranormal. And they say that given the popularity of television shows such as Ghost Hunters, there seems to be an insatiable public hunger for mystic happenings. But who believes in the paranormal? A significant number of Americans hold these beliefs. And they say, for better or worse, we undoubtedly live in a paranormal America. Okay? And I don't think America is unique like this. In Canada, where I'm from, or many other countries, there's a lot of belief in the paranormal. There's an article from Daniel Austin. This is from 2021 Skeptic magazine. The article is fantastic. It's called "The Fringe is Mainstream," but his subtitle there is "Why Weird Beliefs Are a Normal, Central, Almost Universal Aspect of Human Affairs." And I tell my students that, and then some students who come to class are skeptical, but I say that if you think that the only people who believe in the paranormal or the supernatural are stupid stupid or crazy, you have a very simplistic, shallow understanding of what is going on. There's a lot more going on to it than that because the belief is so widespread. Just a quick summary about the course that I teach. I developed it. I started teaching in 2019. It's popular with students. I have a maximum number. It always fills up every time I teach it. I teach it both 15 weeks in person and also online. I'm currently teaching the course now. I just finished the online version of the course. Since 2019, I've taught about 900 students in the course. And students become attracted to the supernatural content, of course, but critical thinking, skepticism are major course principles and also practices. And one of the things I've realized more and more as I'm teaching the course is that critical thinking, and it's not just memorizing a set of principles, literally it's something that has to be practiced, okay? So the approach is to teach how to think and not what to think about these things. And students make up their own minds about what to think. I'm lucky, I think, that I use two really great course books for my in-person course. This is How to Think About Weird Things, Critical Thinking for a New Age by Schick and Vaughn, which is a great textbook. And also another fantastic book I use for my online course. This is Critical Thinking, Pseudoscience, and the Paranormal. And this is by Professor Jonathan Smith, and I think he said at Rutgers University. But these books are great, and these books, both of them, are very, both of them very much challenge the whole idea of the paranormal and the supernatural, and students learn about how the brain operates and lots of other things. So these two books definitely make my life easier. Just a little bit from one of the books, the Schick and Vaughn book, they say, to get to the truth, we must go beyond wishful thinking to critical thinking. And we must learn to set aside our prejudices and preconceptions and examine the evidence fairly and impartially. Only then can we hope to distinguish reality from fantasy. And I mean, that slide that you're seeing there, that is one that I'm using and teaching in my class also. And just one other thing from Professor Smith's book about critical thinking, he says that if you want to become a master of critical thinking, you must do more than memorize a set of rules. And having conquered this will be of little use in the battlefield of life. And again, this whole idea of you need to practice. And where is the best place to practice? And he says one area has emerged as ideal: the world of ghosts, astrology, psychics, miracles, etc. And it's the world of the paranormal and the world of just claims of the supernatural. And he's right. After teaching this course for 3 years, that it's such a rich content area, the world of the supernatural and the paranormal, to teach critical thinking. And I've taught critical thinking courses before, and as some of you know, critical thinking can be boring to teach also. All right, let's learn about the 200 different types of logical fallacies, or however many there are these days. So I found that just this area of the supernatural, the paranormal, I'm glad I kind of stumbled into it. It makes my life a lot easier. So the students come to the weird stuff course for the supernatural and the paranormal, and they get that because we dive into these things. But they get a full helping of critical thinking and also skepticism too. And I remind students of something that the authors of the Paranormal America book say, and they say that people are the focuses of our inquiry. And I tell my students that this course is very much about people too. And I say the videos that we look at in class or the things that we're reading about, I say, just consider those people. Why are they accepting or rejecting those things, those beliefs in paranormal or supernatural? What's going on there? And for me, that's the most interesting part of the course of teaching it. You're probably familiar with some of the good critical thinking principles from the Foundation for Critical Thinking. So these intellectual values that I'm sure you're familiar with, maybe you've seen before, we focus particular attention on good evidence and sound evidence and good reasons when we're diving into the paranormal and the supernatural. One of the things that I get my students to do in the course is write critical thinking reports. And literally I'm getting them to practice those critical thinking values. So it's worth almost half of the course. And what I get students to do is they have to summarize and analyze either a book chapter chapter or an article. So read this book chapter, summarize it, and then analyze it. And then, of course, I'm carefully selecting which things I'm getting there to summarize and analyze. And one of the first things the first report I get him to write about a chapter from this book, which is also great, Guy Harrison's book, 50 Popular Beliefs That People Think Are True. And the first chapter is, I believe in the paranormal and the supernatural. And it's in quotation marks there because this is what some people say. He most definitely does not believe in the paranormal and the supernatural. And that first chapter is a full-throated defense of science and reason, and I guess a rejection of the paranormal and supernatural. And that is the first report students write about. And some of them are kind of surprised and shocked by what they're reading from Guy Harrison's chapter. Here's a quote from one of the students in her report. And that type of cognitive dissonance that she's mentioning, this is something I run into in students' reports and sometimes in their online discussions also. Every time I teach the course, I get students to do a paranormal profile survey. Before the course starts, I send them a link, and literally it's a list of 15 different paranormal phenomena, and I ask them to indicate their level of belief. What's their level of belief in these different phenomena? And I can show you just some results, some survey results from this semester, from my 15-week course. So my current in-person weird stuff class. But the responses that you'll see now are kind of typical. Every time I administer a survey, I get kind of typical results from, again, these group of young undergraduate students. The first one here, you see that ghosts and haunted houses are real, and you see the student answers there. There's a lot of belief in ghosts and haunted houses. Alien spacecraft have visited the Earth, and you see something similar. By the way, I'm choosing the ones that I guess have the highest level of belief. Another item on the survey is people have been and can be possessed by demons. I think I maybe need to rephrase that demonic possession one. But again, you see, for example, the number of believers that believe very much is 32%. I think I have one more to show you. Angels are real. That is the one. I think angels, ghosts, and UFOs. These are the ones that get the highest scores in belief. And again, the survey, I administer the survey at the beginning of the course, just as it's just starting. And some students complete the survey even before they do. And I administer it again. I don't administer it online, but usually during the final class that I do, my face-to-face students, I administer it again. And you see the changing opinions in students over 15 weeks, and also my online course. I see some changing opinions that happen over the course. And I can show you just a little bit of feedback from some students. And here's what they're writing at the end of course surveys.
Ooh.
And again, you see that cognitive dissonance going on with some students. Oh, sorry. I learned a lot in this class to help me view the world a little more critically. It's not easy in any way, but it helps to see the world more clearly. My views on the supernatural have not changed much. I still enjoy them, but now I see the flaws in the logic behind them far quicker than I did before. One of our students says, the critical thinking skills from this course will help not only last a lifetime for myself, but all who take it, and help us. It helps us to understand the process the world around us, weird stuff and all. So just getting towards the end of my short talk here about teaching this course. And going back to Daniel Logston's, his article, The Fringe is Mainstream, he writes that we need a robust community of focused, rigorous scholars of weird things. We need the ongoing capacity to track new developments in the ecosystem of belief and refine our understanding. And he says his dream, my dream for every major university to have a department devoted year-round to the critical study of paranormal, pseudoscientific, conspiratorial beliefs. So I hope to come back to you in a couple of years heading this new department at the University of Arizona. We'll see. In Richard Dawkins, The Foundation for Reason and Science, here's what, I'm talking about what we do, and Professor Dawkins writes that critical thinking is the real savior of mankind. My foundation promotes respect for people who hold critical thinking as a cherished personal goal and use it in day-to-day life. And I guess that is kind of what I'm doing too, or what I'm attempting to do with my course at the University of Arizona. I'm sure you're familiar with Michael Shermer's work, and actually thought about his book, Why People Believe Weird Things. I thought about it as a possible course book. But he writes that it is for these folks, and for those in the middle who are uncertain as which direction to lean, that I think debates such as this can make a difference. And of course, people, some people are firm in their convictions, either for or against the supernatural or belief in the supernatural. But and I find this too, you have a lot of students, they're really not sure. They're kind of on the fence and don't know what to make of these things. And that's what he's talking about there. We can influence how people lean, in certain areas. He says, if we can offer a natural explanation for apparently supernatural phenomena and make 3 or 4 simple points about science and critical thinking so that listeners can learn how to think instead of what to think, then I believe it is well worth the effort. And I find that a useful reminder for me and what I'm trying to do with my Weird Stuff course. And I guess I think, Professor Shermer, I used some of his videos in my class, and one of them in the beginning of the course, we get into the whole very interesting topic of demonic possession, and we look at the video, and his argument and his take is that it's a performance. It's a psychodrama or a performance, but he says, this part in the video, and I copied this from my students, there's no such thing as the paranormal or the supernatural. It's just the normal, the natural, and the things we haven't explained yet. And I agree. So I found myself teaching a course about something that doesn't exist. Maybe. But the belief in the paranormal and the supernatural is definitely something that exists very much. I find myself, I think of myself, I guess I'm trying to lead horses to water, and just finishing up waters of drinking from or skepticism, and just one final comment from one of those courses. This course has been such a great impact on me. Weird Stuff taught me a vital skill that's going to be beyond applicable in ever-changing society. I'm beyond thankful that someone was able to open my eyes and show me that there are other ways of thinking than my own. Thank you.